So let's go. How do you start on LinkedIn? Well, it's very important to have this 100%. Expand your network and be aware that you do not invite contacts before you have a very good profile. Because imagine that you invite your colleagues and they come on your profile and they see that it's empty, or that you can't say, yeah, it still needs to be filled. Just fill it first and then add contacts. Yeah. And very important, do not use the option to import your Gmail or your Hotmail or your Outlook account to send everybody an invite. Because if you do that, imagine that you're trying to connect with me, then I see this line, this sentence, Dear Jelle, I would like to add you to my contacts on LinkedIn. Well, that's very personal, is it? No, it's not. So, social media is just like the real world. You want to be polite and you want to be professional. So make sure you send a personal note and, hi, this is Leanne, and I would like to get in touch with you because this and this reason, or we've just met yesterday, or hey, I viewed your webinar and I would like to connect because. Just take the time and effort to do it. And yes, if you have a big map of business cards like this, it will cost you a lot of time, but the investment is really, that's worth it. So make sure it's 100%. You go to LinkedIn, and we have the URL, but it's just linkedin.com. I'm sure you can remember that. And you can hit join LinkedIn and fill in your contact details. The next step is that you fill in and complete all the information. And we begin with a professional photo. And like I said, you don't want to be drinking or something. You can do that maybe on Facebook if you like. I won't even do it on Facebook. But you can. Like, this is not professional. Just make sure that you have a picture where you're facing the camera, so that people can look you in the eyes and see who you are professionally. So skip the drinking photos and make sure it looks good. Then you can choose if you want to publish your photo and make it visible for everybody, or just for people in your network, or your own connections. So what's the difference between connections and network? Well, if you are connected to, an example, Leanne, then you can see my picture, even if we are not a connection of each other, because you are in my network. You're in the 2nd grade, because you know Leanne and I know Leanne. And my connections, then you wouldn't be able to see it, only Leanne can see it. But why would you hide it from anybody? It's just show it, it's you, and what's the worst thing that can happen? That people are getting in touch with you because they want to do business or offer you a job? I mean, what do you have to hide? Some people are really scared of sharing this information, or yeah, but then they see how I look like. Yeah, now if I go to the supermarket and I run into you, I also see how you look like. So don't be scared about that. Then we have the details of what you're doing at this moment, what you've done before, and where you did your education. You fill that in over here. The professional headline, a lot of people put their function over there. So I'm a buyer, I'm a marketeer, but the marketeer, the function, what you're doing, is already in the position you're at the current moment. So the current position already shows what you're doing and what your function is. So use this to grasp attention on what do you do and where are you good at. And this is how it looks like in example. I changed it a little bit now, but you can see that I'm not sharing, I'm a consultant. No, I'm telling what am I doing. And you will also see this in the search results. So you can really how do you say it? Step out, or yeah, well, you know what I mean. I assume. The public profile, the same. You can hit, you can check which information is shown to people in your network or out of your network. Again, just what do you have to hide? Check it all, and like the picture, the headline, just provide this information. Again, the worst thing that can happen is that somebody's going to try to get in touch with you to do great things. This is the additional information that's also on your public profile, and you can add websites. Now there is, I think I can do it, it's really over here, these boxes, these ones, you can choose their website, which sounds very logical to hit website if you want to share a website, but then it will say, instead of megaexposure.nl, it will say website, and then people can click on that and go to the URL you put on it. If you hit other, then you can name it yourself. So it's a little trick to be even more clear about what are people going to see after clicking. So it's my own website, there's some crowdfunding thing I did, and a contact form so that people can just send me an email even if they are not contacted, because LinkedIn doesn't want you to be able to send emails to people who are not in your connections. So by this, people are still I enable people to get in touch with me even if we're not connected yet. Then the interests, these you can consider this keywords of what you like, and don't be shy to also put some other hobbies or some other things like skiing or dining, but it's nice if people want to get in touch with you that they already see if you have some common interests. And for the salespeople among us, it's very handy if you see that somebody is fond of sailing and you are a sailor as well, that you can mention that out of the blue in your first acquisition meeting, or you can say, well, yeah, I went sailing. Oh, I really like sailing, and then, well, but you can, if you do that in the right way, then hey, I like sailing as well. Oh, that's great. And just even if you don't, even if you know it already, but use that information to do business. Well, that's a little trick. Then there's the personal URL, which you can use in example your email footer, but also on your website. The standard is linkedin.com/in/ and then something that looks like your name and a long code of numbers. You want it to be very easy to remember for others, and you want it to look good in example the footer of your email. So you can change it to something you like it to be, and that you do under your current URL, and that's just in settings, and you can customize the URL. It's in the right top corner, and you can give it your own name. Skills and expertise. This has a little bit less value than recommendations, because it's people won't hesitate as much to do this as they do to give a recommendation, because then you really write a personal note about somebody. And this is just, I know that somebody's good at public relations. I know that somebody's good at social networking, and they can just hit +1. And by that showing that they think you're good at something. What can you use this for? And some people say, yeah, but okay, because it's so easy, what's the value then? Well, if there are 22 people that are willing to hit public relations, there might be a couple of nephews or friends who do that because they like you. But in this example, you can do the assumption that public relations, social networking, and networking might be some of the skills that somebody has, and the more, the better. Who has viewed my profile? We already did this. Now this is the. I'm very curious. I should have looked that up what I did in January, because we went sky high, and I think that is because I shared a post on LinkedIn with a URL or a link to my website, in which I explain how you can use AirPrint without a printer that has AirPrint enabled. So it was just a little piece of free software, and I shared it. And I had a blog post on my website explaining how to do that, and apparently a lot of people liked it. And that we shared more things, but sometimes we publish something and we really expect, well, this is going to be spot on and go sky high, and it's not retweeted, it's not liked, nothing happens. And then we share a piece of information about some free software which we just took the effort to explain because we really liked it, and then that takes off. And so just try and trial and error, and you'll find out what works for you. Expand your network. Well, let's take an example that I'm looking for somebody. Then I see that this person is third. You see that next to her name, third. That means that there's somebody I know who knows somebody that I know. It's 3 steps from me, so that's a bit far away. But if I want to connect, I can just hit the connect button and view her profile to see what she does. And I see that she has a website. It's some charity where she's busy with, and so I can get some information on this person first. And then I can also see where she is in the network, and I see that there are a lot of people that I know, more than 40, that have a connection, who has a connection with Marloes. Well, this is a bit far away, but sometimes you see that one of your best friends is knowing a person that you are trying to get in touch with, and then it's very interesting, of course. So expand your network. You just hit connect at somebody, and then there's the option that you can choose: colleague, classmate, we've done business together, friend, other, or I don't Marloes. I don't know the person. If you do that, then you can't get in touch. And so they say, well, if you don't know them, you don't need to connect. If you're a colleague, you have to say at what company. If you have studied together, then they ask you at what school, and the school needs to be a common school. Then how do you know we've done business together? Well, then you put in the company where you were working, or other, that's also a possibility, and then you put in the email address of the person you want to connect with. I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. We also already said that. This is the text I use a lot. Why? Because I'm offering somebody to help by introducing them into my network. And let me know, I'm most willing to help. And we call in Dutch, we call it, I don't know what, we have this child, the whip, we call it. If you do something for another, or just offering to do something for another, the other is most willing to do something back for you. It's psychologically, but if you are invited to a dinner, it's well, a lot of people just bring wine or bring flowers for the guest wife, for the host to say thanks, and then we're even again. Now, if you're offering help, and of course, if somebody's asking this help, then you help this person. But I like connecting people to each other, so I'm absolutely willing to introduce you all watching to somebody in my network if I can help you by that. But make it personal. Don't use that stupid standard note from LinkedIn. Make sure that you're visible. If you have 30 connections and one of 100 people is able to help you, then that's 0.3 persons. That's useless. So if you have 300 people, then there might be 3 persons. And this is of course an example, but understand that the more people you're connected with, the more probable it is that you will can make use of this network.